You know that feeling, right? It hits you, maybe around 3 p.m. It's not just that you're tired, it's something else. It's cognitive lag. You've got this mountain of emails, articles, and decisions to make, and it feels like you're just wading through mental mud. You're feeling overwhelmed, constantly playing catch-up. Now, for years, we've been told the problem is time management, but honestly, that's a total misdiagnosis. The problem isn't your schedule, it's your processing speed. See, you don't have a time issue, you've got a throughput issue. And in this explainer, we are absolutely gonna fix it.
Okay, so this right here, this is the central paradox of productivity. We've all been sold this idea that to be accurate, you've got to be slow and deliberate, right? We think thinking hard means thinking slow. But the neuroscience is telling us something completely different, something kind of counterintuitive. It turns out your brain is way more focused, more engaged when it's pushed to its absolute velocity limit. Being careful, well, that's often just a fancy word for letting your brain buffer, you know? It leaves all this idle space open for distraction to just creep right in.
This visual right here captures our daily experience perfectly. Just think about it. You are trying to process a 2026 level of information. I'm talking a constant fire hose of data and demands, but you're running on 1995 neural hardware. It is the perfect analogy. You're a dial-up modem in a fiber optic world. So that feeling of lag, that constant buffering you experience, it is not a personal failing. Let's get that straight. It's a systemic mismatch between your processing habits and the insane speed of modern reality.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're gonna unpack the velocity paradox and diagnose the cognitive bottleneck. Then we dive straight into the solution, the velocity protocol, the actual neuroscience of speed, and a super practical drill I call the 3-minute overclock. And we'll wrap up by learning how to outrun the critic.
All right, section 1, the velocity paradox, why your brain is more focused at high speed. So why on earth does moving faster make you more focused? Seems backward, right? Well, when you move slowly, you're only using a tiny fraction of your brain's massive processing power. This leaves all this unused bandwidth. Neuroscientists call it idle cycles. And here's the thing, your brain hates a vacuum. It absolutely hates it. So it fills those empty cycles with, you guessed it, distraction and self-doubt. But speed forces your brain to become a single tasker. It just consumes all the available bandwidth, leaving literally zero room for the noise.
So, think of your brain like a high-performance computer monitor. It has a refresh rate. Now, if information comes in too slowly, what happens? The picture flickers. And that's exactly what's happening when you read a page and realize you absorbed absolutely nothing. Your brain is bored. It's understimulated. So to get that smooth, crystal clear state of focus, what we call a flow state, you have to match or even exceed your brain's natural refresh rate. You've got to feed it data fast enough to fully light up its capacity. Okay, section 2, the cognitive bottleneck. Let's diagnose your mental stutter. So if our brains are basically built for speed, what's holding us back? What's causing that mental stutter, that brain fog we all know so well? Well, the issue isn't a lack of attention. It's a systemic neural underload. It's caused by 2 really deeply ingrained habits that are acting like massive bottlenecks on our cognitive throughput. Let's break them down. All right, here it is. The first and honestly the biggest bottleneck, subvocalization. It's that habit of silently pronouncing each word in your head as you read. From the moment we learned to read, we were taught to do this. But here's the problem, and it's a huge one. You can think and see way faster than you can speak. So by chaining your reading speed to that little silent inner voice, you are limiting your brain's 100 billion neurons to the processing speed of your mouth. Think about that. It's like putting an artificial speed limiter on a supercar. And it is the #1 reason reading feels like such a chore, and why you so often forget what you just read. Bottleneck number 2 is something called serial processing. This is the habit of thinking one word at a time, one idea at a time, analyzing everything in this neat, linear sequence. But here's the kicker. Your brain isn't designed for linear thought. It's a parallel processor. It's a pattern recognition machine. So when you force it to move in this slow, step-by-step fashion, you are stopping it from doing what it does best, seeing the whole pattern, synthesizing info, and making those awesome intuitive leaps. It's like you're forcing it to look at a giant, beautiful mural, one single pixel at a time.
So you put those 2 bottlenecks together, subvocalization and serial processing, and what do you get? You get this. You are a fiber optic cable trying to transmit data through a coffee straw. The pressure just builds, and that's what creates cognitive friction and pure exhaustion. You know that feeling of working so hard but getting absolutely nowhere? That's it. The truth is, you haven't worked too hard, you've just worked too slow.
Okay,
Section 3, the velocity protocol, the three-part system to overclock your mind. We've diagnosed the problem. Now it is time for the solution. We are going to manually overclock your neural hardware. We're going to install a brand new operating system that just bypasses those bottlenecks entirely. And listen, this isn't about willpower or just trying harder. This is a structural change. The velocity protocol is a three-part system designed to literally hijack your brain's processing centers and make speed your new default setting.
So the protocol has three core parts. First up, the blur reading expansion. This is all about moving from hearing words to seeing patterns. We're going to break that subvocalization habit. Second, the neural loading technique. This is how we shut down that inner narrator for good. And third, the 3-second decision matrix. This is where we shift you from slow, painful deliberation to rapid-fire pattern matching. Think of this as the engineering schematic for achieving liquid focus.
All right, Section 4, the neuroscience of speed. Why forcing velocity unlocks your brain. So why does this protocol actually work on a deep biological level? Because, and this is key, it is not just a mindset trick. This is a physical upgrade to your neural circuitry. Forcing your brain to operate at high velocity triggers profound, real changes in how it processes information and even how it's physically structured.
Okay, check this out. This is the crucial cognitive shift. When you operate slowly, you're using your prefrontal cortex, or PFC. That's your conscious, deliberate mind. It's powerful, for sure, but it's also really slow and burns a ton of energy. But when you force speed, you literally don't give the PFC time to engage. Instead, you shift the entire cognitive load over to the cerebellum. That's the part of your brain responsible for automated skills and gut-feeling intuition, and it is incredibly fast and efficient. You move from thinking about doing the task to simply doing it.
And this is where it gets truly amazing. Pushing high-velocity signals through your neural pathways over and over again triggers a process called myelination. Basically, your brain recognizes a pathway as being super important and starts wrapping the nerve axons in this fatty, insulating sheath called myelin. What does that do? Well, this insulation stops the electrical signal from leaking out and allows it to travel up to 100 times faster. Every single time you do a speed drill, you are literally building a biological superhighway inside your brain.
You know, the clearest way to think about this is a computer analogy. What you're doing here is upgrading your brain's neural RAM. Practicing these drills is the direct equivalent of adding more RAM to your computer. You're not changing the core processor, that's your intelligence. You're just increasing its capacity to handle way more information way more quickly with far less lag and stress. You can suddenly run more complex programs at the same time without crashing. You're building pure neural efficiency, and that allows you to process twice the information with half the effort.
Okay, Section 5, your 3-minute overclock. A practical drill to condition your focus. Enough theory. Let's move from the science to the application. How do you start doing this, like right now? The cornerstone of the entire velocity protocol is a simple, powerful drill you can do anywhere. We call it the 3-minute overclock. And I need to be crystal clear about something. The goal here is not comprehension. The goal is conditioning. You are training your eyes to move faster and your brain to accept information at a much higher velocity.
So here's exactly how to do the 3-minute blur drill. Step 1. Get a pacer. Grab any book or document and a pen, or even just use your finger. Place the tip of the pen right under the first line of text. Step 2. Outrun your voice. And this is the key. Start moving that pacer across the page at a speed that is physically faster than you can say the words in your head. You should feel like you're literally outrunning your inner narrator. And step 3. Seek movement, not meaning. Your only goal is to keep your eyes locked on the tip of that pacer. I'm serious, don't try to read, don't try to understand anything. Just seek the sensation of movement, not the meaning of the words. Do this for 3 minutes right before a deep work session. It's like you're warming up your neural engine.
And you can start integrating this stuff into your day like right now. Here are your next steps. For neuro loading, try tapping a simple, steady rhythm on your desk while you read your next 5 emails. It really helps to silence that inner voice. For the 3-second snap, for the next hour, just give yourself a maximum of 3 seconds to make any minor decision. Which email to open, what tasks to start next. And remember, the mantra here is throughput over perfection. It's all about building momentum.
All right, Section 6, outrun the critic. This is about redefining intelligence as velocity. Let's bring this all home. As we start to wrap up, it is so important to understand that this isn't just a collection of productivity hacks. No, this is a fundamental redefinition of what it means to be smart and focused in today's world. We've all been taught that intelligence is this static thing, it's what you know. But this protocol suggests a much more dynamic and, honestly, more powerful definition.
And this right here is the crucial mindset shift you need to make. Speed is a skill, not a trait. We have this tendency to think some people are just naturally fast thinkers and others are naturally slow. That is a complete myth. Speed is not some innate trait you're born with. It is a skill that you develop through deliberate practice. Your brain is built for lightning-fast automation, but your habits have been training it for slow, sluggish deliberation. You already have the hardware. Now you have the training protocol to finally unlock its full potential.
So, I want you to remember this. That voice of doubt, that pull of procrastination, your inner critic, they all operate at a walking pace. They simply cannot keep up when you are sprinting. By training for cognitive velocity, you literally outrun all the mental friction that's been holding you back. Focus isn't found by slowing down. It's found in the slipstream of speed. So your challenge is simple. Pick something to read, set a timer for 3 minutes, and outrun your own voice. Break the lag, upgrade your hardware, outrun the critic to find the focus.